What's up, party people? It's T Money here with episode 6 of Voices of Vikings podcast. We got the whole crew back together. The crowd goes wild.
Woo! Hey.
I got my two co-hosts back in action. I got Joey Two Hands and your boy D. How's it going, guys?
I'm great.
I feel like I should say I'm good as well, but I wanted to also say, what it do?
It's good to have you back, D.
Glad to be back.
Give us a little color to the intros. Joe is classic with, I'm great. Are you? Doesn't sound like it.
Usually not, but, just put on the facade and keep moving forward.
Right. Well, we had a week off, so you would think we're rested, we're ready to rock and roll. These two might be, but I'm sick, so that's sick. I don't know, might cough my way through this one. Who knows what'll happen? But we're here, we're queer, we're ready to rock and roll.
Yep. Well, part of that. But yeah, I mean, all the parts are there.
Speak for yourself. As always, follow a standard agenda here. We'll recap the division. We'll talk about 2 weeks ago's game against the Panthers, the heart attacks that we all shared. We'll talk about the dogs from that game. Go into some keys to victory for our upcoming Sunday night football matchup against America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. And we'll turn it over to Two Hands to see those players that we're keeping two hands on. So, first things first, the division. So we got 2 games to recap for our division foes here. I know the Lions lost to the Rams.
Another heartbreaker.
Close one. Yeah.
Poor Lions.
Kind of felt bad for them, kind of not. And then the previous week they got stomped by the Bengals, 34-11. So, stinks to be a Lions fan. They are now 0-7 and bringing up the proverbial rear of our division. Bears, I think they lost both as well.
They got
this Google machine.
road smoked by the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
It was not pretty.
38-3. Yeah, last week, and then the previous was against that stanky Cheese. They lost 14-24. And so that means that the Cheese are bringing up the first place spot in the division. They beat the Bears week 6, 24-14. The football team last week, 24-10, and then they're playing Thursday night against the Cardinals. Sounds like the Cardinals are dropping like flies. So, of course, the Chiefs are going to sneak that game too, and, whatever. It is what it is. What do you guys think about the division so far? We still got a shot. Puts the Packers 6-1. We're 3-3. Bears 3-4. And like I said, the Lions 0-7.
I think the Packers are getting very lucky with their wins. And obviously, like you had said, with the Cardinals dropping like flies, they could sneak this one out. And I'm not ready for all the talk at that point about how they beat the undefeated Cardinals. That's just typical them. Sneak those out. I think looking at their schedule, they do have a little bit of a harder schedule here coming up. Obviously they play us twice, so there's 2 losses for them. I think
Yes, sir.
They just
looks
got
like
lucky.
They can't score much over 24 points.
No.
So week 4 they had 27, week 5 they had 25, week 6 24, week 7 24. I know when we play them we're going to score more than 24, so
Bullshit.
they don't scare me. It just stinks that they're 3 games ahead of us right now instead of just 2. We could catch them without help. But
What team have they beat that's good so far? I mean, the Bengals,
Nobody.
They snuck one away. They got destroyed by the Saints, who are not a very good team. I mean, they snuck one away from the Seahawks, too. Their defense is carrying them through. And then you beat the Lions, 49ers, Steelers, and Bears, and the football team now, all those
Nobody
teams.
good.
Those teams are terrible, man.
the Bengals are the only ones that are good that they beat, and that was a game that it looked like nobody wanted to win.
Yeah, it was just an
It
ugly
wasn't
one
even
all
like
around.
a shootout.
Yeah. So I'm not scared of the Packers. I think their record is overrated. I don't think that they're that good.
Couldn't agree more. Might be biased, maybe not. Either
Absolutely.
way, we're definitely still in it.
Definitely biased, but hey, if you're not with it, I don't know why you're listening to this anyway.
Yeah. All right. Well, 2 podcasts in a row now that we're coming off a dub.
Yes, sir.
Dramatic fashion wins. I know Joe loves those. He loves when it comes right down to the wire. He loves the exhilaration of it all. So I know he was hyped. Actually got to watch that game with him in the old Minnesota, so that was fun. But I think we look good, aside from that last 3 minutes on the defensive side of the ball. I don't know where they went. But then in overtime, it was sick to see Cousins go for the win. On that touchdown pass, you can see Thielen coming across the middle, wide open, and Cousins is like, no thanks. I want to go home. Hits KJ, rumbles for a tutty, chucks his helmet, classic Diggs style. I got up, ran around, almost fell. It was great.
Broke a folding table. That was pretty fun.
We did go full Bills Mafia on a folding table when the 2 pregnant wives left to get some
The only sober
Starbucks.
ones, yeah.
Yep. Don't leave a bunch of drunk Vikings fans around any folding
Especially
tables.
after a win. Or
after
loss,
they
I
win
guess.
like
I'm
that.
gonna go up higher if it's a loss.
Right. I almost went off the top rope, but
Yeah, I'm
would've
glad.
been bad.
Yeah.
I didn't. Yeah. So a couple little notes that I had on that game. Obviously, guys, feel free to jump in too, but no sacks allowed. That was pretty sweet. Only pressured on 4 of 49 dropbacks. That's unbelievable. Big question coming into this year has been the offensive line, and I think they're showing out. I think 9 sacks on the season across 6 games. It's
They're
less than
best
one
in
a
the
game.
league.
I mean, yeah, you win football games like that. So I liked that. Paul Allen, the inspiration for this podcast, called the previous week, so he called it going into Detroit. Herndon would get his first catch as a Viking, and it would be a touchdown. So he's predicting the future. He's just a week behind. No big deal. I'll still take that. So it was cool to see Herndon get into the action a little bit. My last note was on one of those O-linemen, Brian O'Neill. Man, that dude, he was mic'd up, or for any Letterkenny fans, he was mic'd out. One of those two. That was fun to watch. But the dude, after the block punt, is on the sideline, and he's like, we're fine. We've had one fucking bad drive. We're fine. Let's keep going. We're going to keep moving. And then after KJ's touchdown, they had the camera right on O'Neill. He's the first one to meet KJ in the end zone. How does that happen? You got JJ, you got Thielen running, and Brian O'Neill is the first one to catch up to him, throws his helmet off, losing his damn mind. It was beautiful. You love to see it.
It's because he knew. He knew as soon as the ball left Cousins' hands, he's like, I'm going to go congratulate him because we just won this game.
Yeah. That was pretty cool. So, what about you guys? You guys got any thoughts on our win over Carolina that I didn't cover?
Yeah, I mean, big one for me. Started off right away. Rashad Breeland. We had talked about he needs to get an interception. He needs to work his way into it. And very first pass, interception.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that. I was listening to a podcast ahead of that game, Voices of Vikings, something like that. And the host, T Money, might have called Rashad Breeland getting the pick. And I think his co-host was pretty harsh on Breeland, but merited. He had 3 bad games, 3 better games, capped it off with a game with an interception. So good to see him get in the mix.
Gotta give credit where credit's due, man. He's been stepping up with Patrick Peterson out. You know, obviously teams are going to target him because he's had a rough time. But I think something that played into that is that Patrick Peterson is on the other side of the field. I mean, you're not going to go after Patrick Peterson all the time. And so we're going to go after Rashad Breeland all day because, you know, he's obviously not as good as a cornerback as Peterson is. So I think he just kind of drew the short stick. So, you know, I dogged on him pretty hard last week. So it's good to see him, you know, come around. Maybe he's listening to the podcast. Maybe he's like, man, I got to step up. Got to step my game up. So I'm going to dog on him a little bit again. Just, you know, let him know that.
Good. Well, if he did it for us, do it again. It's good to get Darnold seeing ghosts. Let's get Dak Prescott or Cooper Rush. Let's get them seeing some ghosts early in the game too. So, cool. Well, we're going to boogie right along then. We're going to jump into the first official segment for this cast with D's Dogs. What you got for us, D?
So, had some time to think about this because it's been, I've been here and there and underwear and just not here. So,
Yeah, where were you? Why weren't you here last week? That's baloney.
they took me across the border. I was relaxing, chillaxing, all cool. I shot some b-ball outside the school, but how that goes. A couple of guys just were up to no good. You know the whole story.
Yep.
So,
Now
but
you're living with your auntie and uncle in Bel Air.
exactly,
Hey.
or Cancun for that matter. But anyway, so offensively, I got nickname for him, Old Reliable, Adam Thielen. 11 receptions, 126 yards, 1 touchdown, brings him to 37 receptions on the year, 393 yards, and 5 touchdowns. I say Old Reliable because it seems like he's always the one that you can count on when you need a catch. Whether he's about to get hit, whether he's getting hit, whether he's falling, whether his hands are tied behind his back. He always seems to haul it in. I mean, he's always there for anything. And so it doesn't surprise me for him to have a game like that. But when they get on Jefferson like they did, he pops out more. So love to see it.
Yeah, in the game against the Lions, he had those 2 clutch catches that got us into field goal range. In this game, I know he had a clutch catch that got us into field goal range, even though we missed and ended up in overtime. But that touchdown that he had, you got to give him credit. I'm going to throw some side credit into Cousins because that ball just stuck to his face. But he's falling on the sidelines. He didn't even know. He's like, I think I caught it.
He was on his knees.
Sure I caught it.
Yeah, he was
what
on his
I do
knees.
is I catch it, so I probably did.
Yep.
Touchdown. That was nuts.
Yep.
He said that in his press conference after the game, he said 2 years ago or something when we played the Panthers, in the same spot, Keenum threw him a pass, and it hit him right in the chest, and he dropped it. He got the touchdown on the next play, so it washed out, but he was like, it was good to put a cap on that in that exact same spot, same end zone, same type of thing. So I like that one.
I agree. And for the Cowboys, last year, we are about to play the Cowboys coming up here. Last year, he had arguably one of the best one-handed catches of the entire season. It was very underappreciated because CeeDee Lamb had one that was, a two-handed. He did have a really good play on Jeff Gladney. He turned, diving, full extension, caught it, totally blows, takes all the credit for the whole game, basically. But nobody gives credit to Adam Thielen for his one-handed catch. He didn't even put another arm up. He didn't need it. He could have had it in his pocket. He went, got it, brought it in. Insane. Love to see another one of those, too. But, Thielen, dog! All right. Defensively, I'm going to give this one to Xavier Woods. 4 tackles. He had a forced fumble. Brings him to 35 tackles on the season, 1 interception, and that forced fumble. He was a scary presence, brought the fear factor to it, if you will. There was a lot of dropped passes that, aside from them just dropping them for whatever reason, popcorn before the game, you never know. A lot of them, it seemed when they dropped it, it's because they heard footsteps, and who was right there? Xavier Woods, every time. He was in position to just lay the lumber. So it's always good to have that fear where, usually it's Harrison Smith that brings that, so it's good to see Xavier Woods learning from Hitman.
Yeah, for sure. I'd rather see Hitman Hitman can do anything, but I'd rather see him in coverage, whereas in past years we had Harris, who he didn't really bring the lumber. He was a little bit thinner of a guy. He was more that coverage safety. We got beat deep a lot. I'd rather see Smith take a shot at that, have Woods play that role of, covering the middle, helping out the linebackers, dropping the lumber. I like it.
You guys just stop. I mean, I agree. It's
Joe was nodding his head, but
I just didn't know if you
couldn't
wanted
hear the
to add.
peanut going up and down in there, or the bongos in the back.
Yeah, it's not a cymbal monkey; it's a bongo monkey. Get it right. No, I mean I agree with that. Both the offensive and defensive. Xavier Woods has kind of stepped up in a role. 35 tackles for a defensive back is pretty solid. Whether or not that's if they're completing passes against him or stepping up in the run game, either way, if you're gonna allow a pass, at least make sure you make that tackle. And turnovers are huge. We're incredibly positive in the turnover game right now, which is huge. I mean, that is obviously, like you saw in the Bengals game, it's a difference of winning or losing. So to be able to force a couple of turnovers this season already is huge.
So, defensively, Xavier Woods, dog. All right, and then of course to wrap up the dogs, got an honorable mention because, like always, it's just something we do around here. This week, I'm gonna give this one to the boy KJ Osborne. Game winner, game-winning touchdown,
off.
6 receptions for 78 yards, which puts him to 26 receptions on the year, 311 yards, and 2 touchdowns. For a wide receiver 3, only having about 80 yards less than Adam Thielen, who is arguably our top receiver. Pretty darn good for a third receiver. I mean, we're getting him very involved. He's coming in clutch. And overtime, it was the KJ Osborne show, more or less.
For sure.
Him and Kirk Cousins. They wanted to get home, and he made it happen. And so nobody deserved the honorable mention more than him, I don't feel.
Yep. He had a couple big catches in the fourth quarter. It was almost like he came alive in the fourth quarter in overtime. And then in overtime, he had a third down catch on a little scramble play. And then obviously the touchdown. So
Yes, sir.
you love to see it. You love to see his excitement. His press conference right after the game, still wearing his jersey and stuff like that. He looks like a little kid, just super happy. But he's actually older than JJ, which I did not know. Not that age matters.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah, no, he showed that in his veins and stuff. A lot of us have blood, but he carries ice in those veins, if you will. So, KJ, dog.
Nice. I like them all. Cool. Well, we're going to mosey on through here, get to our keys to victory. Got the Cowboys coming up. They are 5-1, coming from the NFC East, or last year maybe the NFC Least. The Cowboys are playing well. They've won 5 straight. Head coach is probably one of my least favorite coaches of all time, Mike McCarthy, just because he looks like a thumb. But the Cowboys lost by 2 to the Buccaneers in week 1, and then they beat the Chargers, the Eagles, the Panthers, and the Giants, and then last week walked off in overtime fashion against the Patriots. That was week 6. They had their bye last week like we did. So, tough test, but that's what you want. You want to play against the best, you got to beat the best to be the best. So, bring it on. And I think with these 3 keys here, should be able to drive that home. So first off, it's been happening a lot this year, but D-line gets home. Need to get some sacks. Need to get Dak Prescott running around back there. So I'm calling 3+ sacks. I think Gabe Henderson in one of the winning formulas or something like that said not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5. But 6. He called 2+, but he was making fun of LeBron, which is always fun. So I'm calling 3+ sacks. We've sacked opponents. I thought this was pretty cool. I know it's an in-depth stat, but on 9.3% of dropbacks this season. That's first in the NFL. So 10% of the time they drop back to pass, we're getting home. So love to see us get home a couple of times this week. 10 players this season with a sack. We got Hunter leading the way with 6 and Griff with 4. And Dak is questionable with that strained calf that he suffered on the last play of week 6. And so if he plays, not saying bounty gate, none of that BS, but we need to make him run. We need to test that calf. We need to get him scrambling. No quarterback wants to scramble around all day long with a broken pocket. So D-line, let's get home. Let's get some sacks.
Yeah, I think I agree with that one. It's going to be, I think whoever wins the sack game is going to win this game. I mean, both teams are coming into this game with only 9 sacks allowed so far. The big difference in that particular category is that the Vikings are first in the NFL with sacks on defense, and the Cowboys are 26th or 7th, I think. They have only had 11 sacks this season. So I think it's going to come down to if our defensive line can beat their offensive line. Games are won in the trenches, so it's a big one.
Yep. Let's go.
I would agree with all that. I think big keys for me, obviously with Dak possibly being out with that calf. They don't want to risk it for him for the rest of the season. I think stopping the run is going to be huge. Holding Zeke to less than 100, I would say, because we don't need to get him fired up and getting started at all. So, and then for the second one, I would say Justin Jefferson. It's time for him to have his game. I'm saying 100 yards with Diggs guarding over 100
okay.
yards.
I was like, what? We were talking about defense. Now we're talking about JJ. He doesn't play on defense.
No. I'm just saying my keys.
Gotcha. He's gonna still get 100 yards even with that Stephon Diggs' brother, guarding him. I like it.
I think he's overrated a little bit. I mean, unpopular opinion. I think the interceptions he's gotten, I think, are very, given. And, interception doesn't do much. Because if you look at the game against the Patriots, he had the interception. Cool. Went well. Very next drive, first play, go, double move, absolutely cooked. For a touchdown, for like an 80-yard touchdown. So I don't think he's all that in a bag of potato chips. I think he might just be a bag of potato chips.
Yeah, Zim's press conference, he talked about him a little bit. Obviously, they got to ask about him, and he did say he likes to squat on routes a little bit. That's why he gets interceptions from quarterbacks that aren't looking. They're rushing it. They chuck it. He picks it. That's why he can house that. So, but you touched on basically leading me right into the second key to victory. Let's score some tutties. I feel like I'm lacking in the shot category. I need some deep shots this weekend to help me get over this sickness. I'm going to power through it with Fireball, I think. That's probably going to help. So I'm calling 5+ touchdowns. Cowboys are outscoring their opponents 34-24. So we're going to need to score 35 if they keep their average of 34. But their defense is allowing 300+ passing yards per game, so should make a good day for my favorite player, Mr. Kirk Cousins. So let's get some TDs, boys. Who's getting them? I'm calling 5.
Jefferson's got 2.
Ooh,
Cook's got
like
2.
Ooh.
So there's 4. Fifth one,
Pick 6.
I'm going to have to say it's going to go pick 6.
That's what I like to see.
I like that.
For sure.
I like that. Anthony Barr. I like it. Alrighty. So, third key to victory, play perfect on special teams. We've missed some kicks, pass games. We've missed some PATs. I know Leg Joseph is playing well, but we need to be tight. We had a block punt last week, so need to play perfect on special teams. So I'm calling 100% on field goals, whether it's point afters or field goals, and no turnovers. None of that block punt bull crap. None of that. Let's clean that all up. So those things tend to turn the tide as well, even if it is just a missed field goal. Kind of ends up changing the whole momentum of the game. And for anyone playing Madden, we know how big momentum can be. So let's keep it clean on special teams, boys.
Couldn't agree more.
And that's it. That's 3. Follow those 3 steps. We'll be 4-3. We'll be above that 500 mark. We'll inch a little bit closer to getting back into that division top spot, being the Kings of the North. So it's a home game too, so we got to make sure that we keep our home turf protected. So that's what I got. So next up on the docket, with all of his thunder and all of his might, none of that has been stolen. None of it's been tainted throughout the previous segments in this cast. The Joey Two Hands players to watch. What you got for us, Joe?
We can dance, everybody look at your hands.
All of what I have has already been said, but I also feel like I say this every weekend, or week rather, on this podcast, is that all of my players usually match up to keys of victory. Devin's players match up to the keys of victory. Going to defensive players, usually they have the sacks like we want each week. Passing wise, receiving wise, rushing. So even if my Thunder's been stolen, we're still shining bright over here. We're gonna give you the players anyway. Offensively,
we need to start letting you go first. That's the thing. We'll do the players to watch, and then we'll talk about.
It doesn't flow like that. So far, this is working. We'll just dive right into it since we've kind of already hit on some of this. But first player, the offensive player, to keep two hands on, is going to be Justin Jefferson. Like your boy D was saying, he's going to, hopefully have 2 touchdowns here. I'd like to see him over 100 yards. Kind of coming off that rough week last week with the early fumble, or 2 weeks ago against the Panthers. That fumble. Obviously, he's having a great season, but in standards of Justin Jefferson, what he was able to do last year, it's not a sophomore slump because by no means is he slumping. But he's going against, again, you guys already talked about this, Diggs' brother. He's leading the league with interceptions. I also believe he's overrated. From what I was seeing, he's one of the most penalized cornerbacks in the league. He's got 4 for like 40 yards. Pass interferences, holdings. He's also one of the last in yards allowed. Period. People like to focus on that interception statistic as a cornerback. So I'm not scared of him. I don't think that the Vikings, I don't think Cousins, anyone is scared of him. I think that we're going to go right after him with Jefferson all day. 15 catches, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns. Keep an eye on Jefferson.
Let's go.
Oh yeah.
Let's see some gritties, baby.
Did we already say that the pick 6 for the 5th one that you were talking about? I want to see Cousins rush one too. Sorry, it just came to my mind.
Ooh,
Want him?
Well,
Let's get 7. Hell, I mean.
Yeah, you guys are super good at math. We counted 5 before, so 5 plus 1.
No, we said Cousins is gonna get 2.
What day is it?
I don't know what day
is it?
I'm the one that's sick with brain fog over here. You guys can't even do simple math.
I have calculators for that. I don't need that.
Right.
Machines do all my work.
Agreed. Same.
Yeah, but I think like we also touched on, offensive line is playing well, and Cowboys aren't very good. It's 29th. I have it written down over here. I should have just looked when I was talking about it earlier. 29th in the NFL with only 11 sacks, so I think the offensive line should give Kirk all the time he needs. No one's been able to rush against Cowboys really well, so I think if we can open up the passing game early, that the rushing game is going to follow. So Jefferson is a competitor as well. I have a cool quote over here I want to say real quick from Justin Jefferson. He said, "It's Sunday night, so the world's going to be watching. We want to show the world that the Vikings aren't the ones to be counted out." And I think it's going to be a big game. Coming off the bye, 3-3 here. I think this is really going to show us what this team is and who we can beat. Whether or not we're going to have this close game again, I think it's going to be a blowout, like we've been talking about. So,
yeah, throwing out quotes. I'll add Brian Baldinger threw out, "This Vikings team's best football is in front of them. Seems like every game we have gotten better, even with the loss to Cleveland. Cleveland, aside from all their injuries now, unfortunately, but they were a great team in the first part of the season. So progressively getting better. You want to be playing your best ball in the playoffs. Doesn't matter if you're a 7 seed or a 1 seed. Who cares? Get to the dance." So I like it.
beautiful.
What you got for
Defensively,
defense?
maybe, again, talked about this, the pick 6, player to watch. Defensively, Anthony Barr. He still seems like he's getting into the flow. Kind of breaking off that rust of missing, almost 18, 20 consecutive games with injuries. Been back for 2 now. This is going to be his 3rd. I think, I'd like to see him get a pick 6, even if it's not a pick 6, just a turnover in general. Cowboys aren't allowing a lot of sacks. I think he's going to do, bring a lot of heat in the pressure game. I think the coaching staff is going to really work through that and help him, get home. So I think Anthony Barr definitely is a player to watch this week defensively, as it has been the last 3 weeks. I just want to see him get back to his normal form.
Yeah, I like it. Full participant in practice today, was limited yesterday, but I think even uninjured, they would probably limit, someone like him coming off those injuries. So even if he is 100%, not going to throw him out there for a million practice reps.
Yeah, a lot of those veteran guys usually
Cool.
take some limited days, to just get more rest and, if anything's nagging them, to be able to let that heal up. So I'm usually not too worried about that. Unless it's like a full did not participate, then it's like, maybe something to look at.
Yeah, only that we got on that list, Michael Pierce still. Love to see him come back, and D.D. Westbrook. So I'm excited to see Amir Smith-Marset on the kickoff returns and punt returns while D.D.'s out here. But D.D. had a couple clutch catches too, I think, in the Lions game. So he always seems to show up when we need him for a wide receiver 4. That's not bad to have. So cool. Well, I will keep my 2 eyes on those 2 hands players to watch. We're boogieing right on through. I think that wraps the majority of the segment. We'll do some predictions here, throw in some family shout outs, and see if we can break a new personal record for a concise cast. I'm not going to call it short, concise. So as far as predictions go, we called out like 40 touchdowns. So I think the Vikes are going to have 350 points. Wait a second. Predictions, real predictions, not crazy. I think we'll get the 5 touchdowns. I'm going to stick to that. I think 2 field goals as well, so that puts us at 41, which would be sick. Love to watch a Vikings game where we score 41. And I think our defense is going to stymie them a little bit. So I'm going to call them at 24. So not necessarily a blowout, but 41-24. Vikes, obviously. Did I look at your paper, Joe?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. Also, am I doing bad math here? 41, is that, are you having a missed extra point in there?
No, 2
field goals. Okay. No, it's touchdown.
Yeah, like Joseph's
nah,
got to get some love.
he's going to kick a lot of extra points, man. Don't worry. Sorry to jump in and maybe cut off Devin. I don't remember the flow or who goes here, but
no, screw that guy.
Good point. You just got very close to my prediction. I agree that I think the defense is going to kind of stop them, stymie them a little bit, shut them down. I think 24 for the Cowboys here. A couple, maybe garbage time touchdown. Maybe an early field goal to get them to that 24. But I think the defense is going to have a good game. And for the Vikings, I'm putting 42. I'm saying no field goals. Give me those 6 touchdowns. Yep. It's no field goals, like I said. If you want to get to those, 2 for Jefferson, I would say 2 for Cook, 1 for rushing Cousins, and another for rushing Cousins. So, 42-24, Vikes, obviously.
So me, something similar, but also a little different, because that's just what I am, a little different. So we're gonna go with 38-14. I don't think they're going to get anything more than 2 touchdowns. I think our defense is going to do very good. I think we're going to stop the run. I think overall we're going to have a couple. I mean, one of them touchdowns is going to be a pick 6, at least one. I think they're going to be able to make it happen. So I'm going to say 38-14 for sure.
Nice.
With also
we're all predicting some blowouts here.
With also Justin Jefferson notching over 100 yards this game.
Heck yeah.
For I believe the first time this season, so he's definitely due for it.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Break out of my fantasy football slump.
Good thing I don't play you.
Ooh, I play Ty P.
Yeah.
Does he listen to these casts?
Ooh, we want you to win for sure. He does not. He does not.
I have nothing.
I've
Good,
never
I have
told him
nothing
about
else
it,
to say.
so. Cool. Well, I think we're gonna beat our mark. We were shooting for 45 minutes. I got 35 on my counter.
I got 36.
Here, so, I don't know. Should we sing him a song?
I mean, I can talk more about the game. I gotta listen to Joe Buck. That's gonna be rough. Yeah, I might just listen to it on the radio. Listen to some PA.
Get PA on. Try to sync up the
pause and play.
the video. Yeah. Yeah.
Another news.
Oh yeah.
Never my favorite.
14-17. The Cardinals are making it back into the game.
Beautiful.
Packers are still up by 3, but they finally scored another touchdown. So they're making it happen here.
Nice. Cool.
An additional segment.
Well, let's go catch.
No. We got that additional segment at the end of this. If anyone's listening still, quick Wild update. Playing well. They're playing right now as well. What? Yep. Against Kraken, first game against Kraken, who seem to be not very good. So maybe the expansion draft is not all it is said to be. Maybe the Knights just got lucky. But they're playing well. 5-1. Had a tough loss against the Predators. Capo was in goalie. Didn't have the best game. Cam Talbot's 5-0 this year. Just stellar. 906 save percentage. Shutting down Kaprizov, but everyone else is stepping right up. So it's your Wild update. Go Wild.
1-0 right now.
So they're 5-1. So they're gonna end the season. They're gonna set a record at 81 wins. It's gonna be incredible. All right.
We're very realistic with our predictions.
Always.
And always 100%
yeah,
accurate.
You'll see. You'll be listening to this cast. You guys will be, in February when the Stanley Cup's being played and the Wild are winning it. You're like, holy shit! Joe said 81 wins and they won 81 games. So.
Yep.
You'll be a millionaire by that point because you should probably take that to Vegas. I think if you put $1 down.
I would assume so. Yeah. I think most wins in a hockey season is like, I don't know, probably 60.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. Well, shout outs. I did not come prepared, so if either of you got someone you were looking forward to shouting out, feel free to chime on in.
So I want to give my shout out to my beautiful wife, Autumn. She's been chiming into these lately for no particular reason other than she just loves us. So
loves and supports you.
Correct.
In everything that you do.
And she loves my predictions because you can ask her. I'm never wrong. She knows it, and she tells me it all the time.
Yep.
I think.
Yep.
I don't know. I wasn't listening.
Nice. Cool. Well, yeah, two hands. Who you shouting out?
Oh boy, I also did not come prepared for this at all whatsoever. Didn't even think about it. Completely forgot about it until you mentioned it. So.
Bleak.
Yeah, it's gonna be a rough one.
Flying off the cuff.
If I'm gonna jump right into it here, and the first person that comes to mind, I've already shouted him out once, but Andrew, he's obviously listening to the cast when I shouted him out last time.
Nice.
Yeah, and he. Again, still is a Bears fan. He was laughing, saying that I'm not going to convert him. But anytime that, we're hanging out, he's always like, come over and watch the Vikings game. We never talk about the Bears, so I think he's on his way. I think it's happening. Yeah.
Good. I thought for sure he wouldn't tune into the podcast after or anything that I did after I just shellacked him in pickleball. Man.
Yeah, you stomped him. I'm surprised that he even talks to us, or me at least still. I see him, so.
I'm just happy I didn't fall over. Almost did.
Yeah, no, but shout out to Andrew.
Andrew.
Also, yeah.
Thanks for tuning in.
Becoming a firefighter. Got to give him some credit there too. Yeah, he just got the job. I think he's just pending like a physical test. Dude's cut, so he's gonna have no problem. But big movements. It's pretty cool.
Dude's cut.
For sure. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, my shout out, I think, has been shouted out before, but our one most, not our one. I can't say that because I know we've had a couple that have been with us since the beginning. But I'm going to give this shout out to the old Faja, my dad, old Bob with 2 B's. There's 2 B's on the end.
There's a D at the end.
There's no two B's.
Oh, MN. It's MN.
A C?
Yeah. So I know he tunes in every week. Hope you're doing well, Dad. Love you, miss you. Hope you like the cast. So that's it. We did it. We're still under 45 minutes, so this is a record. I feel like we deserve a prize. There's the prize. It's a great prize. I wish you could all see the shimmy that we just received from Mr. Two Hands.
I also have 2 boobs, so.
It's a huge prize. It's a huge prize. So, but I think we can shut this down for the night. I'm going to go to bed. Probably never wake up until Sunday, about 7 o'clock p.m. I should be 100% by then. So, cool. Well, good work, dudes. As always.
Skull
Vikes!
Vikes!